It has not been a good year for critically endangered North Atlantic right whales. 4 entanglements have been documented so far, which scientists say is a relatively high number for the first 3 months of the year. Argo, a 42-year-old right whale, was spotted off the coast of North Carolina back in January, with fishing gear wrapped tightly around his tail and flukes and 2 traps dragging under his tail. It took 2 days to disentangle 2 lobster pots and more than 150 feet of fishing rope from Argo.
It's coming up.
Most of the rope, buoys, and in rare cases traps that scientists recover from right whales like Argo are taken to this warehouse run by NOAA Fisheries in Narragansett, Rhode Island.
Most of the gear, when you kind of look at the overall picture, is unknown rope. So it didn't have marks on it. It's just we don't have a buoy associated with it. It's just rope.
The gear collected over the last 3 decades helps federal scientists learn more about how and where right whales are becoming entangled in fishing gear. The Maine lobster industry maintains that its gear hasn't been involved in a documented right whale entanglement since 2004. But because most rope isn't recovered, and because most rope that is retrieved has no markings, it's been difficult for scientists to tie an entanglement to any fishery at all. Within the last 3 years, Maine lobstermen have started marking their gear with purple and purple and green labels. Those marks have not been found on right whales.
But the other thing that we look at when we start considering what the threat is are those marks, or is that fishery a threat to some of the other species that we deal with, like humpbacks, minke whales, fin whales? And the purple marks are showing up on humpbacks and minke whales. Since we added these new color marking systems back in 2019, the most common color that we've recovered or identified has been purple, the main mark.
Oh. Yep, there's one more.
In Argo's case, scientists discovered the gear came from a Canadian lobster fishery in waters off Nova Scotia. They say it's unclear if he will survive his injuries. Entanglement in fishing gear is the leading cause of death and injury for right whales. Fewer than 350 of them remain.
We have to find a way for the fishing industry and whales to be in the same space, to work together. That's the only way it's going to work, so that they don't get these serious injuries or die from these interactions. We're interested in seeing fishing flourish, but it's complicated.